Transphobic feminists fascinate me, and specifically the women, because I can't imagine hating anyone or fearing anyone so much that I would literally take steps to sign my own rights away or to endanger myself and people like me. It just seems really horrible. Of course, one of the things that I've noticed about a lot of these transphobic feminists is that they have a tendency to sort of ignore any cisgender women who might also fall outside their definition of what a quote-unquote real woman is. And that becomes a problem because they try and say that they're protecting cisgender women or fighting for women's equality and only women, but it doesn't really pan out that way. Over the last few years, we've had several feminist groups join up with the religious right, with people who specifically think that women shouldn't have equal rights, that a woman's place is in the kitchen, that they should be barefoot and pregnant, and or other things that I'm just not going to get into at this point, simply because both groups have a common enemy: transgender individuals, specifically trans women, because it's always about trans women, because, yeah. So we end up with people who supposedly are feminists supporting misogynists simply because they want to destroy the rights of transgender individuals or deny the rights of transgender individuals. And unfortunately, it doesn't really work out very well. These bathroom bills that keep popping up, part of the problem that seems to be swept under the rug by these totally not transphobic feminists is that these women who keep getting dragged out of bathrooms, assaulted, sexually assaulted, abused, humiliated, degraded, a lot of them aren't transgender. Most of them are cisgender. And so you're not really protecting women. You're introducing violent, hostile, aggressive men into the bathroom simply because you perceive trans women as a threat. You know, men have never really needed to put on a wig or a dress to go into a bathroom and rape a woman, but the non-zero number of assaults by men in women's rooms by cisgender heterosexual men in women's rooms and women's bathrooms and so on that lead to rape and assault and death, those don't seem to be as big a concern as the terror of the possibility that someone who has or may have once had a penis might pee next to you. Women who don't meet exceedingly narrow definitions of what an appropriate gender role or gender stereotype is are branded as trans, are marked and singled out. They're discriminated against, they are assaulted, they are raped, they are pulled out of bathrooms. And that's the sort of thing you'd think you'd care about even if you didn't actually care about trans women, because this sort of attitude, this idea of rigidly enforcing gender stereotypes is really self-defeating. It leads to harm if you dare step outside the boundaries of what a quote-unquote real woman is, or does, or looks like. I'm not entirely sure these people even understand what transgender individuals are, to be honest, because I keep hearing this notion that trans individuals, especially trans women, because it's always trans women, because, I keep hearing over and over again that trans women reinforce gender stereotypes and whatnot, and I keep wondering what exact gender stereotypes I end up enforcing. And I've never really gotten a straight answer, if you'll pardon the pun. The thing is that I usually get responses that go from specific to vague, and an interesting thing, by the way, is that trans women for a long time were limited in options because transition-related care was often held behind a gate of behaving like the gender stereotype would require, that you had to actually be more woman than woman in order to actually get care. And when I say it used to be the case, I mean it used to be the case like almost across the board. It is still the case for a lot of people that their transition is held behind this paywall sort of situation where if you don't play the perfect little girl who likes pink and Barbie and wants to cook and be a loyal housewife or whatever, then no hormones for you, no surgery, no evaluation, no whatever. This has, interestingly enough, been upheld by a lot of feminists. So when you see transphobic feminists complaining about gender stereotypes, keep in mind that they're the people who have been enforcing the gender stereotypes. You must be in this box or we will reject you. But at the same time, if you're in this box that we forced you into in the first place, because that's the only way we would accept you, then you must be reinforcing gender stereotypes and hurting feminism so we can reject you anyway. Ha, we win either way. And I'd call this transphobic, but this really isn't transphobic because they do the same sort of thing to a lot of cisgender women who don't fall into those gender stereotypes either. And part of me wonders if they're okay with the angry guys who go into bathrooms to police them to assault women who don't meet their very narrow criteria. And that sounds kind of awful even to me, but I can't imagine a scenario where you're willing to trade the safety and lives of a ton of women to snub 1% of the population. I mean, how much must you hate that 1% of the population if you're so willing to deny them rights that you're willing to deny other people rights, the people that you're supposed to care about, the people you have identified as like you, the real women, the women-born women, the whatever you want to call them. How much must you hate trans women if you're willing to send women back to the Stone Age, or at the very least the Bronze Age, in order to snub us? Because the problem is that this is done ostensibly to protect real women, except it removes protection from real women. Because feminism, I guess. Thanks for listening. Amaranth out.